So for starters, the Miami Dolphins really set the bar high, making cornerback Byron Jones the highest paid cornerback in the league. Coming out of Dallas, he was offered a $17 million deal per year, but it was a bidding war. The Raiders and the Dolphins did fight for this cornerback. Ultimately, we do know who won in the end, the Miami Dolphins. Now moving on. So the Miami Dolphins did try to get in touch with quarterback NFL prospect Tua Tagovailoa out of Alabama, and the visit didn't quite work out, but all they were trying to do was trying to get insight. But lucky for the Miami Dolphins, he does have close ties with Miami, and they are still looking at him for a prospect in the NFL draft. So not only has Miami been in contact with Tua Tagovailoa, they did get in contact with the Ohio State running back J.K. Dobbins, who seems to be a pretty good fit for the Miami Dolphins, but we'll see once the NFL 2020 draft rolls around. And despite the visit not going according to plan, Tua did say that he was planning on sending out his videos to NFL prospect teams in the future. Although the Miami Dolphins did make some big gains in free agency, just to mention, they did take some significant losses as well, such as releasing safety Mike Hull, as well as safety Rashad Jones and defensive tackle Kendrick Norton. Now moving on to the positives for the New Orleans Saints. So the New Orleans Saints made some big gains late on in free agency, signing Emmanuel Sanders out of San Francisco with a 2-year deal around $16 to $19 million. And the negotiation surrounding the money is still in play. But before that, the Saints did add Malcolm Jenkins, the safety out of Philadelphia, who has played with the Eagles for 6 years. Jenkins is now reunited with New Orleans after some time. He will be a definite upgrade with the New Orleans Saints at the safety position in the 2020 season. Not only did the New Orleans Saints make 2 big gains during this year's free agency, they did suffer 2 significant losses that should be mentioned. First, AJ Klein, a linebacker, is headed back to Buffalo with his old coach Sean McDermott. Also, another significant loss for the New Orleans Saints is backup quarterback Teddy Bridgewater, who is now the new franchise quarterback for the Carolina Panthers on a $20 million per year deal over 3 years. Also, 2 other losses that the Saints did suffer in free agency but wasn't as brutal to the fan base was Eli Apple, a cornerback, is moving on. Then also there's Keith Kirkwood, a wide receiver, who is headed to the Carolina Panthers with Teddy Bridgewater on a 1-year deal. Now on to the Atlanta Falcons, made big gains with Dante Fowler, a pass rusher and an outside linebacker, who is just what ATL ordered. He is very close with head coach Dan Quinn of the Atlanta Falcons, and he will be very welcomed where they need a pass rush boost. Also, another big move for the Atlanta Falcons, they just traded with the Baltimore Ravens for tight end Hayden Hurst with a 2-year and a 5th-year option deal. He is able to navigate zone defenses very well, much like former tight end Austin Hooper, who just signed with the Cleveland Browns, worth over $42 million over 4 years. Also, late on in the free agency deals, the Atlanta Falcons acquired running back Todd Gurley out of the Los Angeles Rams, who now has a 1-year deal worth $4 million with the Atlanta Falcons. Now, although the Atlanta Falcons did make some big gains, they did suffer some big losses too. One major loss the Atlanta Falcons suffered was the loss of Devonta Freeman, a running back, after having him over 3 years, and he still had $21 million left on his contract. He's now a free agent and had discussions with the Lions, but nothing materialized from that. Now, where the Carolina Panthers made big gains, the Saints made big losses. The Carolina Panthers acquired backup quarterback Teddy Bridgewater, making him the new franchise quarterback for the Panthers on a $20 million deal over a 3-year period. Within free agency, the Panthers also acquired Justin Burris out of Cleveland over a 2-year contract. The Carolina Panthers also made a big move by acquiring Pharoh Cooper, a wide receiver who has played for 3 other teams, the Rams, Cardinals, and Bengals, as well as made 1 playoff appearance. Now on to the Dallas Cowboys, where they do acquire HaHa Clinton-Dix from the Chicago Bears over a $4 million deal for 1 year onto the Dallas Cowboys. Another player that the Dallas Cowboys gained during this free agency is defensive tackle Jerry McCoy from the Carolina Panthers. He is 32 years old and he is a little bit older, but the Dallas Cowboys' objective here is to add more bodies to the defensive line. One major loss that the Cowboys is facing is Jason Witten, who has been with the Cowboys for quite a while, and this is his 17th year in the NFL, and it was debated on whether he would come back or not. He will instead be joining the Las Vegas Raiders over a $4.7 million deal for 1 year. One team's trash is another team's treasure, and in this case, the Texans struck gold. The Texans acquired Randall Cobb, a slot receiver from the Dallas Cowboys, over a $27 million deal for 2 years. This will be a reliable receiver for Deshaun Watson to throw to. The Texans were off to a great start in acquiring Randall Cobb from the Cowboys, but where they messed up is when they lost their best wide receiver, DeAndre Hopkins, and a 4th-round pick to the Arizona Cardinals in a trade for a running back named David Johnson and a 2nd-round pick in the 2020 draft, as well as a 4th-round pick in 2021. Now, this is one of Houston's best wide receivers gone in a blink of an eye. Many Houston fans were highly upset with this big move that's crucial to next season's success. This move will make or break the Houston Texans next year. So, who's Watson going to throw to now? Well, that's a good question. We'll have to wait and see, but there is a little hope. There is still Fuller and Stills, but the question is, will they be enough for next season? Now that Tom Brady has taken over for the starter position at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Jameis Winston is now out of a job and he is a free agent. There is no destination for him as of now. That is a wrap of 2020 free agency. There will be more transactions to come, but this is it for me covering free agency. You will see me next time during the 2020 NFL Draft. Bye.